So I'm in the midst of doing all of these videos on SSMS Copilot, which is really only the bottom part of this shirt here. The one thing that I've been meaning to talk about and have been waiting to make a video on this is this top part, SSMS 21, a new version of SQL Server Management Studio which had a significant rebuild from SSMS 20. So now seems like as good a time as any to talk about SSMS 21 and all of the new features that it has available, because this is the current and the best version of SSMS 21 to date. What do you mean SSMS 22 was just announced in preview? Data bar, 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 data bar. Dabba 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 dabba, hoi hoi hoi. Okay, Data Bard. Okay, breathe, breathe. All right. Things are happening faster than you expected it to. You're already expecting that this shirt that you were so excited to get is already going to be outdated in a couple of months. That's okay. That's okay. The product's evolving. That's what matters. The product is evolving. That's what matters. Just means we're accelerating our plans a little bit. All right, let's move on. Okay, so I had this idea for quite some time of doing a series covering more of the SSMS 21 highlights, and I expected that we had a little bit more time before we moved already beyond the next version of SSMS, and it seems like that is more close on the horizon than we expected it to be. So that means we're going to jump right into this series, and we're going to start covering why is SSMS 21 such a big deal, what features does it bring to the table now, and because of that, why should data professionals like myself start considering heading in the direction of SSMS 21 from whatever version of SSMS you are using, whatever version of SSMS you are using today. We're going to start with one of the bigger features that came in with SSMS 21, Git Integration. Let's go and look at the UI, what the experience looks like, and walk through a basic scenario of using Git to manage a code base natively in SSMS. Let's go to the demo. Alright, here we are in our SSMS environment, and we want to be able to successfully integrate Git into our SSMS environment so we can start source controlling queries that we write. From SSMS 21's interface, there's a couple places to take a look at it. By default, you may have some tabs here on the right that are for various capabilities, but you will also have a Git menu at the very top part of the screen, which covers a lot of our basics, being able to clone repositories, create repositories, managing branches, and other settings. So let's create a brand new repository that we don't have quite yet. All right, we're gonna call our repository SQL scripts. Getting our template, license template is all fine. Now, in case of this prompt here, I have already connected in my SSMS into my GitHub account, which is my Data Bardis account. We'll call the repository name SQL scripts. And for sake of argument, we will ignore at least having a description for the time being. And we'll create and push. Now, in case you want to see how I set things up previously, we'll go into Tools, Options, and under the Options section, there's a source control area that controls a lot of things as far as what is our solution we are going to use for source control, and then also information about how we are going to connect into our repos. I've kept most of this in place by default, but don't be surprised if when you're trying to connect in, you'll find that you are in fact going to be prompted for Git credentials. Alright, some time has elapsed. Let's see if our repository was created. I'm gonna go out into my GitHub environment. Let's refresh this. And there we go. Data Bardis SQL scripts. That is my new repository created out in the service. Going back into SSMS, what can I see now? Well, I can go into my Solution Explorer, which I can right-click on this folder, go to Open, And this is the state of my repository, which at the moment doesn't have anything because we created something blank. Let's take a quick look at other options before we try and do any coding. Other things here, committing and stashing, very common activities in the source control world. Fetching to identify what in remote branches or in the remote environment, if anything has changed in terms of code. Pull to actually pull the changes. Push to push our local changes out to a remote branch. Synchronization of pulling then pushing. And a number of things about branching. Now let's take an initial look at the state of our environment. So I'm going to right click on this. Doesn't really give me much for options here. There's Git changes over here. Okay, here we go. So this gives us an initial view of our Git environment. And at the moment, when it creates the initial repository, we've got our master branch with just a master endpoint. Or not master endpoint, with a master out there. And then we also have a local version of master as well. Let's suppose that I want to make a code change. Well then, I'm going to do what I should do is grab a new local branch from our master. We'll say this is a new feature. And we'll identify this as a checkout branch based on master. Quick moment, there it is. And the fact that this is bolded identifies that new feature is our current active branch versus master, which is a branch that also exists, but that when we take a look at our code, this is not the current state of our code. All right, let's go back to Solution Explorer, and we don't have anything in here. So I'm going to right click and add in a new file. Actually, let's do a new item. We'll do a SQL script. And we'll just connect into our sandbox environment for the sake of having the connection in place. Uh-oh, here's my dots. Don't take a look at my dots. Scroll away, scroll away. All right, my connection is established. We're gonna call our SQL file just, you know what, we'll keep it as SQL file 1. Open that up. And it gives me the development experience in a query editor window while also connecting in to my database. So I can do active development and querying of my database in the same place. All right, we've got our query editor window. We'll keep our initial script simple in the hello world version of SQL, which we'll say select hello world. Nice functional query there, good. All right, let's save off our file. Let's take a look at our changes. Changes has identified that we've got a new file here. We've got a place to do our commits and enter in a message for that. And up here we know we are connected into our feature branch, not into our master branch. So let's add in this and we'll say this is a new query. It is super interesting. Yay! I'll right click on changes. We'll stage the changes, which moves it from changes to staged changes. And then we will commit staged. All right, our repository says we've got an update here, but this is still our local. I still need to push this out to my remote branch, so let's go ahead and push it. Now, if I take a look at the definition of this branch both in my local environment and in GitHub, both will show the same state of the code. Last thing we want to do is we want to be able to merge branches, because that's at least the final step in the development process before we get back to our main code base. So file's still there. Gonna go over to master. And to confirm, this is the state of the master branch. Notice our SQL file 1 isn't there, which it shouldn't be because we haven't done anything to merge it in. Let's go ahead and merge in that branch from Git, GitHub, and let's initiate a new pull request. The new pull request, we need to identify a couple pieces of information. Let's set it up first. So we're going to merge from origin new feature into origin master. So at least how we set all of that up there. Taking a quick look at our pull request, it identifies the one change that we made, adding in a file. So right is the incoming file, left here is our differential showcasing that the file didn't exist. So we're going to be adding that in. Let's see, reviewers. This is a very important thing, so I need important people to review this. Let's go maybe Bob Ward. Is Bob Ward available to check this? Doesn't look like anything's coming up for him. How about Bradley Ball? Nothing there. Unfortunate. That's fine. I don't need a review for this. I'm confident in my change. Let's hit create. And it successfully created a pull request. Now, at this point, make sure that you get a message saying that it successfully created the pull request. What I had happen when I initially tried doing this is, instead of getting this successfully created message, it told me that I needed to connect into my GitHub repository, which basically means you need to go through a basic authentication to your GitHub environment that enables us to do this. Let's click on pull request here. And that opens up a browser going to my pull request sitting out in the Git environment. With all the information of what I commented on, I can take a look at the commit information, files changed, and I can do the typical checks that I would want to do to make sure that everything's good to go. Once I'm confident that it's good to go, we'll say merge request, confirm the merge, and our code is successfully merged into our master branch. Let's confirm that in SSMS. Going back to SSMS, nothing shows up initially until I do a fetch. And the fetch showcases that we've got an adjustment that was made to the master branch that was done in another branch and was then merged into this one. Let's then hit pull, and pull actually pulls the changes into our local environment. And they're connected into our master branch. If I check my Solution Explorer, there's our file with a connection that says Hello World. And with Hello World, we have successfully integrated Git into our SSMS experience. Yay! There we go. Git integration now natively within SSMS. And this is something that is just one of the many features that came out as part of SSMS 21. In upcoming videos, I'll do my best to try and highlight some important features that I think people should note of. At least for the initial videos we'll be doing in this series, we'll cover some things that are SSMS 21 specific, but as I mentioned, that announcement of SSMS 22 in preview just came out last week. We'll make sure to start covering those features as well. So stay tuned. This product is developing. It is developing quickly, and it is developing for your benefit. On that note too, this is a product that is developing for your benefit. Would you like to have the chance to give feedback and post some ideas that you think would help the product develop? If so, check the link in this video. It will go to the website where you can submit ideas similar to Power BI ideas and Fabric ideas, which have both significantly impacted those products, and this place will significantly impact where SSMS is going. So, you get those ideas on paper, out on that website. Hopefully that'll turn into new features in the future that we all can benefit from. Brings us to the end of today's video. If this video is helpful, please hit that like button, subscribe. It helps the YouTube algorithms know that this is a video that the community will get help from. If you have any other questions about SSMS 21, that SSMS Copilot, or other tools that data professionals can use to be more efficient in their work, let me know in the comments. I'll do my best to handle those questions in future videos. For now, I'm Data Bard, and I'll see you in the next chapter. Today's chapter may be done, but that doesn't mean the story is over. If you are looking to work with someone like me to improve your data strategy or implementation, go to bakertilly.com/digital, fill out the contact form, and let's see how we can help you take the next step on your data journey.